Community development goes beyond building towns and structures. It's about finding and creating a place that we can call home. Joining us today is Omar El Hamamsy, Group CEO of Orascom Development Holding, to talk to us about what it takes to create sustainable, integrated towns that allow the communities to thrive. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Orascom Development started in 1989 with a vision for an all-year-round coastal town. Since then, you've witnessed great growth. Talk to us a bit about your journey, both in Egypt and internationally.
So as you said, Orascom Development started almost 35 years ago with the initial intention of really having a very magical place in a magical geography, in this particular case on the Red Sea coast of Egypt, and with the intent of having a really unique environment where people can live, people can visit, people can play, and eventually, over time, it got extended to where people can work also, right? We're operating in 6 countries, have a presence in 7 countries. We're in England, in Switzerland, in Montenegro in Europe. We're in Morocco and Egypt in North Africa, and we're in Oman and the UAE in the GCC. We have a total land bank of about 100 million square meters, which, if that doesn't mean anything, it's the size of Paris, effectively, which is really interesting. We've developed roughly half of that land, and we're in the process of accelerating the development of the remaining half of the land. We serve a very large number of people. So not only do we develop and deliver approximately 2,000 plus units of residential real estate per year, but we also serve over 2 million customers in our hotels. We have about 33 hotels and 7,000 rooms across these different destinations.
Now, I'm glad you're talking about these places as towns because this is your primary focus. But you use a phrase, integrated towns. Talk to us, how does living in an integrated town differ from just living in a regular, development?
Yeah, that's a great question, because when you live in a development or a compound, which is typically the way, that you see developments done in parts of the Middle East, especially places like Egypt or maybe the UAE or Oman, etc., we have a very different approach to all of that. We actually build entire towns. And the beauty of it is that we get to curate the experience that you get in this town. We get to curate what goes where. So we have the zoning capability. We get to curate what type of placemaking events and or facilities and or activities exist there. So where do we put a sports club? Where do we put food and beverage facilities? What types of brands do we bring into our towns, etc.? And then last, we also get to curate the entire look and feel of everything. So if you go in any one of our towns, be it in Montenegro on the Adriatic, or in Salalah in Oman on the Indian Ocean, or in El Gouna or Makadi on the Red Sea in Egypt, or even in the mountains of Switzerland in Andermatt, you will see a very distinct feel of the way that the roads are very windy, the way that the planning is not sort of cookie cutter type planning, right? And you will actually feel, if you spend days and weeks, and for many people they spend months there any time in the year, that the vibe in the town, the community that we curate, as I say, or that we support over there, has a real soul in it.
This links to your Orascom Development Keys of Life initiative.
Yeah.
What is the primary focus of this initiative, and how is it going to change these future communities?
So, as I said, the Keys of Life initiative that we've been running now for 2 years in a row engages a number of global researchers, 25 of them, people who really have been spending a lot of time thinking about the field of sociology, of communities, of architecture, of master planning, etc., to understand what is it that makes a community truly distinctive. And we've also been asking questions in different continents, Europe, Middle East, and North America, to try to understand that secret sauce. What do people want? What do they aspire to? And we think we're beginning to actually have really interesting insights, because while in the first 35 of our years of our life, we've been relying primarily on our own intuition and our own magic of doing this, and our own successes, frankly, as well as our own failures. Of course, we continue to make mistakes, and we always will. But from there, we've been evolving. Now we're trying to actually get ahead of all of this and try to understand, okay, how do young people today think about community? If you're a young person who's actually spending your life in a combination of physical world and virtual world, right? What types of spaces should we be creating for you to thrive going forward?
I'm so glad you're talking about the future and anticipating needs, and as well as just thinking about how people have changed, how the market is now looking for things that are more sustainable, things that are a bit different. I know you prioritize sustainability at Orascom. What are some of the measures you've taken to make sure that the projects you're building are actually sustainable?
Sustainability has been built into our DNA from day one for a number of reasons. The first one is, all of our projects are either on amazing coastal areas or in amazing mountain areas. So by definition, they're beautiful geographic locations, which when we showed up were either virgin or very, very small and barely kind of operating, right? And so it's a responsibility for us, both socially as well as environmentally, to make sure that we actually ensure the healthy development of those places socially and environmentally. So what does that mean fundamentally? What have we done? Well, on the environmental side, it's pretty straightforward, right? We've been, since 2014, for our very first town called El Gouna in Egypt, we were given the award by the UN as the Green City of Africa, the first Green City of Africa, actually. And it's something already that we were doing in 2014 when nobody was talking about ESG or sustainability or anything. So it was always with us. But in different towns that we have today, we focus on a number of things. For example, sustainably generating electricity. Today, in El Gouna again, we generate approximately 10% of our electricity from sustainable sources. That's moving towards 25% in the short future. That's on the environmental side. On the social side, which in my mind is as important, we are actually also very cognizant of the fact that we operate in areas which tend to be historically underdeveloped or perhaps even in a broader geographic environment that's maybe underprivileged also to an extent. And so one of the important things for us has been to integrate fully socially within our geographic neighborhoods where we are, to try to make sure that we're employing a lot of people from the local economies. So we've created more than 10,000 jobs directly in El Gouna. In Egypt, we've brought in more than $500 million of foreign investments over the years, etc., to benefit the local economy, right? Then we also make sure that we're actually moving and upskilling people in our different destinations and in the geographies in which we are through education. So, for example, in Gouna, we have a marine training institute. We have a nursing training institute. We have a hotel training institute. In Oman, we also do similar examples and similar training for the local population, for women initiatives that we do, etc. So the social dimension for us also in the environments in which we operate is absolutely critical. And I think when we think of sustainability, it isn't just on the environmental side, but it's also on the social side, so that we have true economic benefit for everybody around us.
I want to thank you so much, not only for these amazing insights, but also for just the amazing work you do in general. We hope to see more sustainable and beautiful towns develop in the coming years. Thank you so much.
Thank you.